Hello everyone, this is the fifth of the video series on parents and children, and this will be more technical. So we already had three philosophical ones. I did talk about the sun-moon relationships, how they describe the parents in early life in a child's psyche. And now I would like to show you a couple of different relationships, how to look at them. I'm going to use a trick that I usually use whenever I do synastry. Synastry readings are the most complex and more complicated of them all, because you actually have two people with two sets of words, okay, two separate words, and you need to somehow reconcile those two words, and sometimes it is almost impossible. The trick I'm going to show you is by no means a true deep in-depth synastry reading. It's simply really just a trick to see how the everyday life will go on in two people's life. I did prepare a little PowerPoint for you. So it's parent-child relationships. And we're going to look at first at the different aspects. And in order for you to understand how the dynamics work between two people, it is important to remember that aspects don't exactly mean the same when you look at synastry. Let's go through the most important aspects and the ones that are here actually. Conjunctions are always fusions. So whenever you have conjunctions, those are the strongest aspects. Now you will see that I think I have 9 different examples. Hardly any conjunctions are there, because between parent and children, conjunctions are not that relevant, not that prominent, let's put it this way, because it could be relevant if there are conjunctions. Of course, it makes the relationship tighter, but the fact that we don't own our children and our parents don't own us is really hinted on by the fact that there are not that many conjunctions, okay? But of course, when you do see conjunctions, they strengthen the cohesion between the two people. Oppositions are always mirroring, reflecting and mirroring. Oppositions are considered to be hard aspects, but in synastry they are really good. Because why? Because you see the other person perfectly well, and you can actually meet halfway. So we are very happy with oppositions, because oppositions keep a relationship alive. They keep it vivid and alive. Trines are blessings. So they just give you a perfect harmony and blessings. Squares give you the worst, the biggest problems really in a relationship. I will show you why. Okay, here's a book in my hand. You can see that this is a book. Actually, this is how you can see how big. You know what? Sorry. Let's do it properly so that you can see, because while I'm sharing the screen, you may not be able to see what I want to show you. So I have a book in my hand, okay? And if you just see this angle of the book, so, this side of the book, because squares are right angles. So when something is at right angle, you only see one side of the story. Here's the book, okay? And if I ask you if this is big or small, okay, here I put it next to my head. So it's not really big, it's an average book. It's not big, not small. Is it thick or thin? Well, again, average, okay? But if I ask you if this book is good or bad, you won't be able to answer. Why not? Because you don't see what's in there. By the way, this is an astro planner. You probably can't see it because it's mirroring. It's an astro planner. One of my friends put it together. It's a very nice one. It gives you the planetary placement. So it's like a planner for the year. I got it from her as a present, and I'm very happy with it. So again, if you see this portion, you can tell the title of the book, but again, you don't see how thick it is, okay? So that's the right angle. And whenever you see a square, the square is between two people is a tension that is caused by the fact that whatever is at right angle, you won't be able to see the other portion, the other angle. And that's what causes the most trouble. And whenever I see a lot of squares in a relationship, I can always tell you that it's going to be a difficult relationship because you will have everyday tension. Something that I do won't be understood by the other. Something that he sees or she experiences won't be understood by me. There's only one thing that can help this. Love. If you love the other person, then you will be able to leave your comfort zone behind and go ahead and try to understand his or her world, because that is what we can do. That is what we can achieve. So this is, of course, this video is on parent-child relationship, but what I'm talking about, what I'm telling you about the different aspects is good for any sort of relationship. So again, let's see the other aspects. So squares are really difficult. Whenever you see a lot of squares, will indicate that it's going to be a difficult relationship. Then you have the sextile, which helps you to again to work together. It's a very nice aspect when it comes to children and parents. Karma, okay, semi-sextiles and quincunxes are karmic aspects. That brings you the karmic edge of the relationships, any type of relationships, and especially quincunxes are difficult aspects because sometimes they work as a trine and sometimes they work as a square or an opposition. So in one moment everything is fine and harmonious, and the next moment everything falls apart. So it's difficult. It's always difficult. Quindecile, 165 degrees, that's the obsession and the ambition. If you have a lot of them in any relationship, it makes it very fated and obsessive. And the spiritual aspects, which is the quintile series, the septile series, and the novile series, those are the spiritual ones. They add mental capacities to a relationship, so we consider them quite well. They are different in nature because the quintile series give you ingeniousness, and it gives you the ability to work together. The septile, biseptile are spiritual aspects in a way that they really as that in-depth spirituality and transcendence to the relationship. And then noviles and binoviles are altruism or helping each other in any way. If you see life essence, don't bother with it because that's something I'm experiencing with. So we are not going to talk about that today, but I've already put them together because I needed to see them. So let's look at this one, which is very harmonious but karmic. You see trines and quincunxes that are dominant, and quincunx and one semisextile. So this is a relationship that can be, I mean, this is a mother and daughter relationship. It's quite harmonious. There's nothing really too difficult. There's only actually two squares, a Mercury-Saturn square, which may mean some misunderstanding in communication. And there's a Jupiter-Mars square, which may be that one person's actions and will are not too reconcilable with the other person's hopes and aspirations. But other than that, this is not a difficult relationship. The next one is quite spiritual, but you have tension building up. You have 5 trines and 5 semi-squares and sesquiquadrates. And there's a difference. With semi-squares, there are minor squares with minor tension. They don't give you an everyday repetitive clashing. It simply gives you chances to reconcile things, but in a quarrelous way. Sesquiquadrates, however, always look at the participating planets, which element they are in, because if they are in the same element, the two planets in the interaspect are in the same elements, then we say that this is a tense trine or a trine with action, an action-packed trine. So it usually indicates that it's an old tension. The two people try to reconcile it many times, and in this life they may be able to. So in this relationship, you see the many trines which gives you a blessing and harmony. But at the same time, you also give, you have quite a few tangentful things, but you also have the spiritual aspects as well, 5 of them. So it's an old relationship, and it indicates that these two people can reconcile. Again, this is parent and child, not it's not romantic relationships, but you can actually do the same with romantic relationships. Why did I forgot to tell you this, why did I choose only these 7 ancient planets, or 7 visible planets? Because the first 5 are the personal planets. They will describe how the everyday relationship is working. And then you have the 2 destiny planets, Saturn and Jupiter. And if it's a long-term relationship, it's always good to look at those aspects as well, because they will actually show you how the destiny is panning out between the 2 people. And when it comes to father and child, or mother and child, those relationships are until the very end. So they are long-term, obviously, until one of them dies. It's going to be there. The relationship is going to be alive. Okay, the next one is this is quite tense. You see that there are a lot of, actually 6 sesquiquadrates, but this is old tension. And this indicates that you need to resolve those old tensions. Again, just count how many of them are in the same element. And if they, I think in this case, it was old 6 that were in the same element. So it means, it indicates that they were able to talk about it and reconcile it. There are not too many trines, only 1 trine, but there's a very important sun-moon conjunction and sun-sun trine. Those are very beneficial. There is a moon-moon square, and I need to tell you that in a romantic relationship, not the father-moon, but in a romantic relationship, if you have a moon-moon square, and this is quite exact, an exact moon-moon square, it indicates that you won't be able to live together under one roof, because you have different needs. So that's different with the father, mother, and child relationship. So this is quite tense, but there's also there's a spiritual aspect of it, because there are 5 spiritual aspects. And since there you find a binovile, which means double the altruism, so it can help the people resolve it. You do have 2 conjunctions. I mean, if you see the others, I mean, there's no conjunction in this one, no conjunction in this one. Yes, there are 2 conjunctions in this one. And one is the sun-moon, which is always very important. It shows that it's a very old relationship. Again, and the Venus-Jupiter indicates that it is a very loving and lucky relationship. So this is spiritual, and you can resolve the tensions, and they were able to reconcile in many ways. Here you have everything, really. It's dominantly karmic because you have 5 karmic aspects, 4 quincunxes and 1 semisextile. Semisextile, sorry. You don't have conjunctions again, and I'm telling you, with father and child, or mother and child, you won't see too many conjunctions in this small table with the 7 visible planets. And you do have some harmony, some tension, but it's dominantly karmic. So these people have to work on it quite a lot. So that's not a very easy relationship. You only have 1, despite the fact that you only have 1 square, and the sesquiquadrates are also just 2 of them, so not too many. And the next one, okay, is quite obsessive. You have 3 quindeciles. Those make any relationship obsessive. You have 7 karmic aspects, 7, out of which 5 are quincunxes and 2 are semisextiles. There's only 1 square. There's not too many tension, although it's a Mars Saturn, and Mars Saturn is always about blocking the will. So it's not very easy. You have a couple of noviles, I think 2 of them, which gives it the altruism flavor, and it is both karmic and obsessive, but spiritual as well. This one is a very difficult relationship. This was very, very difficult. So, and it has been very tense throughout their lives, and I don't think that they resolved it too well, to say the least. 4 oppositions, so they could have met halfway, 4 squares, that's more than enough. I mean, it's very difficult. And 6 semi-squares and sesquiquadrates, and these sesquiquadrates are unfortunately in quincunx signs, so 150 degrees apart. There's no quindocilla, luckily, and there's a lot of spiritual aspects. So there could have been a flavor of trying to reconcile it, and trying to get to means by it. But you have only 1 decile and only 1 biquintile, and most of them are septiles and biseptiles, which means that there is this what is missing is the ingenuousness, really, because that is not there. It's more the subaltruism and some spirituality there. That was a very, very difficult relationship between parent and child. This, you see, is a lot looser. You see some harmony. There's no trine, interestingly, no, only two sextiles. 1 square, Mars, Suns, it's not such a bit difficult thing. And you have spiritual aspects, those are dominant, the 5 of them, and the rest is kind of evened out, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's like nothing is really jumping out, only the spiritual ones. So this is an understanding between the 2, and you have some loose harmony and some loose tension, but not very difficult. And then the last one, this is dominantly spiritual. You have 6 spiritual aspects, but you also have 5 squares. This is an interesting example, because it was a very deep love between the 2, and it was very difficult. They did have a lot of clashes, let's put it this way, clashes, problems, but they always reconciled, mother and son. They always reconciled, but both of them thought that the other doesn't love them, and both of them had to realize at her deathbed that yes, they loved each other, but they weren't able to express it in a proper way. So that was also a very tense one, with a lot of harmony at the same time. I mean, look at it. You have 2 trines and 3 sextiles. So actually the 2 harmonious aspects kind of offset the squares. Okay, so this could have been very flowing and very beautiful. And actually by the end, towards the end, it became quite nice. And so the spiritual aspects were winning the case, but it wasn't by any means easy. I hope this helped. This is just a tiny fraction of what you can do with synastry. Okay, this is the first thing that I look at when I do synastry, but it gives you the flavor of the relationship. Of course, you need to understand the aspects. You need to work with very tight aspects, so the orb can be really much tighter than in the normal case. Look at only the important stuff and try to really assess by actually counting how many harmonious, how many squares, how many this, how many there, because you will get the dominant aspects and you will get the dominant flavor of the relationship. And remember, if you love the other person, if you honor the other person, anything can be reconciled. Okay, you just need to understand that his or hers is a separate world. It's not like yours. And if you love her or him, you will be able to get into that world and understand it better. I hope that this will happen. Thank you for listening. Bye.